Hello and welcome to the Accounting for the Real World podcast. I'm Rachel Eden and I'm your host. Hello and welcome back to Accounting for the Real World. I'm running season 2 of this podcast with the same approach that I took in season 1, but hopefully better than ever. I know that so many people are looking at the different aspects of running a small business and also of running smaller charities. And actually there's so much in common between the two types of organisations. So my aim with each of these episodes is that they will be useful for people working at senior level in a small business or in a charity, perhaps a business founder or CEO or trustee of a charity. And in this week's episode, it's going to be a relatively short one, but I wanted to talk about how I think small businesses and small charities can actually work together to help each other. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. But in the course of this season, I wanted to introduce to you some of the things I'm going to be looking at. I'm going to be looking at HR issues, at organising time, dealing with your personal finances, marketing strategy, and of course, getting the numbers right. Some of those areas are areas in which I feel very confident and it's my area of expertise. But other areas, I've brought in guests and I'm going to be sharing interviews with them. I'm hoping that you'll get a chance over the summer to listen to various of these and I always find that the summer is a really good time to have a bit of a reflect, do some of the more business development side or organisational development side of my business. Obviously, that might not be the case for you. It could be your super busy time. But if that's the case, then hopefully these episodes will be bite-sized enough that you can listen to them on the go. Either way, I hope you're ready for a really good summer and that you'll find this podcast a useful addition to it. So in this week's episode, as I say, I want to talk a little bit about small businesses and charities and how they can work together. And I've really found this to be something that in my own work has been really, really useful. Every year my company has a charity of the year, and we have done since very early days when I was really just me. And I found that it's benefited me in my business actually, and it's also been a great way of supporting my local community and the charities that I've worked with. So first of all, let's think about it from the point of view of a business. Now, of course, we all want to help the community, but often as a small business owner, you can feel that really you've got enough to do just to meet all the challenges, meet your obligations, pay your staff if you've got them, make enough money to live on, pay your taxes. So why get involved with charitable activities at all? Now, of course, one of the big reasons is that you want to help others and show solidarity and support with the cause that you care about. And very often, as a small business owner, you actually measure your success by being satisfied in your work and feeling very proud of what you do. And I know that if you talk to people, and indeed if you listen to some of my other podcast episodes, that comes across very clearly talking to small business owners. But I think the second reason is that it can help with making sure that your staff on your team are feeling motivated. It can be a really good way of bringing you together, and that of course benefits the business. One of the other things, of course, is that we know that just purely from a marketing point of view, it can really provide some benefits to your reputation as an organisation. But I think more than that, it can help you build your network. You can get to know other people, whether it's through other businesses that support that charity, individuals, or indeed people who work for that charity. Personally, I think having a charity of the year is a particularly effective way to do this because it really focuses your charitable work and you build a relationship. And one of the things that I know that you can find from that is that you can actually see at the end of that time, at the end of that period, what impact you've had, and that's really, really satisfying. It can also act as an opportunity to help your team develop their skills, develop their confidence, and overall a really good experience. And you really are never too small to do this. You don't have to be able to hand over a massive six-figure check at the end of the year in order to make a difference. Even if it's something like giving pro bono support, that can be hugely valuable. If you've got professional expertise that a charity couldn't afford but does need, that has a massive impact. And in terms of fundraising, you can do things that are fun, that don't require you to have to hand over your own cash. So, for example, we've done bake sales in the past. We've not done that since COVID hit, but those kind of things are a really nice, fun way of raising money from your network. And the other thing you can do is you can link your charitable donation to things that you want to do. So, for example, when I've run training courses in the past, sometimes I have pledged to give a small donation to my charity of the year for every feedback form that is completed, to try and incentivize people to actually complete their feedback forms, which if you're a trainer, you'll know can be a bit difficult. Whatever you do, it can be something like that. It's a really good way of encouraging people to take a little action that benefits you, either indirectly, in the example of a training feedback form, or indeed directly. So, for example, if you encourage people to give a review, and that you'll give a donation per Google review that you receive. So there are lots of ways of making it work for you, and you can have a real impact on your charity without it being a sort of sacrifice, without it being a negative thing. But on the other side of the things, what about for charities? Now, it may seem obvious that having a small business working with you, or indeed any business working with you, is beneficial to you as a charity, but there are definitely ways you can maximise the benefit you get from working with a small business. And the first thing to say is to be realistic about what you're asking for. If a small business wants to work with you and support you, then bear in mind that this will be coming effectively out of the pocket of and out of the time of an individual person, the business owner, and their staff, if they've got any. This isn't about some kind of big corporate PR budget. This is, someone who's taking some time out from keeping things going. And if you run a small charity, you know very well the challenges of running a small organisation. The absolute same thing applies to a small business. They face many similar challenges. But there are some really great things that you can get from working with a small business. And the first one, I would say, is look at what that small business does. If they are a marketing professional and you know that your communication skills or your marketing skills as a charity could really do with a refresh, they could be brilliant at helping you with that. If they're a graphic designer, do you need an update to your logo and your corporate templates? You may not be able to justify spending money on that, but if someone's willing to donate their time to you, that could be hugely beneficial. Of course, in my own case as an accountant, I always find that my skills are hugely in demand for charities, and I actually have to say no to a lot of people about offering them pro bono support. But if you're the charity of the year for my company, then any financial pro bono support you need will be forthcoming, and that can be a massive saving, but also can really sharpen up your finances. So use that small business in that way. Secondly, small businesses are often really well connected. Small business owners, you do a huge amount of networking. So if you get support from one small business owner, you may well find that they're able to talk to their network. So if you do need professional skills, or you want an event to be advertised or some fundraising to go ahead, use that contact and they may well be able to share that with their network. So for example, this has worked in two ways for our charity of the year this year. Firstly, one of my collaborators who I know who runs a small business was looking for a charity to offer some free support to, and I was able to recommend our Charity of the Year to her, and she's hopefully going to be able to go ahead with that. And secondly, our Charity of the Year, which is SmartWorks Reading, was looking for fellow charities and also even small businesses to make referrals to them. And I was able to share that with my network, and hopefully they will get more referrals in from other people in the Reading area. So there's loads of ways you can use your charity of the being a charity of the year. It's good for your own PR. Obviously, you may have a financial benefit, but don't underestimate the opportunities for thinking a little bit differently and a little bit outside the box. And then the final thing I would say, and this may sound a bit mushy and it's perhaps not very tangible, I can't put a KPI on it as I like to do as an accountant, is that if you're working with a small business and a charity together, if you've got a CEO of a charity and a manager of a small business, then you'll often find you're facing the same kind of issues. And it's really nice to have somebody who is doing that, and just having coffee every now and again, or a cup of tea in my case, keeping in touch with each other, either via virtual catch-ups, or even if you're able to face to face, it can be a really good source of mutual support and sharing of skills and expertise in a very informal way. Because I know I bang on about this all the time, but I really do believe that a sort of community-minded small business and an enterprising charity have so much in common, and you can really benefit from networking with each other. So thanks for listening. We're going to have a range of guests over the coming few weeks, and I'm really looking forward to sharing their expertise with you, and hopefully it'll spark some thoughts and help you consider how you're going to develop your organisation further. Take care. Thanks for listening to Accounting for the Real World. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.